What's going on with this not working? Let's see. There we go. April 3rd. We are live here on Tradecaster and in YouTube. Welcome to the Policing Pips lobby. It is April 3rd, 2024. It's Wednesday, and we are opening right around yesterday's interest area, I'll call it. Let's see. That's their Tradecaster lobby over there. If you are on YouTube. Yesterday we did pretty well as far as being patient, not executing in the chop. Today we're kind of looking to see which direction the market's going to want to go. We opened down again. We will go back to the single here. As you can see, my levels are pretty tight together. Previous day low, previous day high are pretty narrow compared to yesterday's range, right? This is the low to the high here. We did have a huge melt off come in pre-market and then just chopped around down at the low pretty much all morning below this purple area of interest, right? This purple area of interest here. We got this little U-shaped pattern now. We attempted to make back into highs. I did say that 18,350 area was going to be an important spot. What do you know? We got right to it pretty much at close yesterday. And then now we've rotated. I'm going to put this down a little lower, but now we've rotated back down into this area of interest, right? Previous day lows here at 201. If we do break below that 201, I say 177 is in the cards. And then we did mention lower than that, right? Let's go with NQ1. We have ISM numbers today, PMI. We have employment changes which came out already, which is not showing. No, it does. Okay. Came out hot. Employment change 184K as opposed to forecast at 125,000, right? This is where we're at here. Okay. So yes, we have Bowman speaking at 45. I don't know if he's a voting member or not. Doesn't really matter. The numbers that are really going to matter is the composite PMI services and the ISM PMI number for March. If it comes in hot, obviously it's going to show some more inflation. We don't want it to be over these numbers because over 50 is expansionary. 52.6 was the previous. They're anticipating 52.4, but the consensus is 52.7. So anywhere in that 52.5 range, we're just going to be watching that to see what kind of algo rips we get come 9 o'clock. Everything after that, 9:30, we got crude. So crude doesn't normally affect the equities indexes, so it shouldn't be an issue. What is going on here? There we go. So we have that. I'm going to throw on my other stream for my news. We are trying to break through this overnight low. I did mention that on the days that we open at our overnight lows or at our overnight highs, it seems as if the market just turns around and runs the other direction for at least the open and beyond, maybe into overnight high. We could want to clean up this. This is technically the overnight high for the more recent time, right up until yesterday. We opened at our overnight high, which technically, I count the 1700 hour on. So I'm going to use this as a key level because the previous day high is right at the level that we're looking at. But the difference between yesterday and today, I'm going to say the difference between the days where we jump from that opening on the overnight low all the way up is that we are kind of pushing into what looks like a continuation to the downside. So I don't trust a bounce right off the jump, especially with the numbers at 9 o'clock. We may get a bounce just because of the numbers coming out at 9 and the algo is kind of anticipating maybe some hot numbers and it wants to dump off. But we're just going to kind of wait and see. So this overnight low is creating itself now, right? This is still pretty much considered pre-market. So as we go down, that's creating new lows. That's creating my overnight low level, right? Anything pre and post market So anything that's not between the hours of 8:30 Central to 1500, I do not consider market hours, right? So anything after that, that's going to be the pre and post market for me. So I'll call it overnight. All right. I played some music yesterday during my stream, just some chill lo-fi stuff, and I got copyrighted. It's funny. It was a YouTube channel that was playing the music, and it was just some lo-fi music. So it's not like I'm making money on the YouTube stream, but it's funny that they flag everything. Okay, and now we're going to check on some of these levels, right? If you go to this chart here, you can see NVIDIA gapping lower from yesterday's close, still holding below that 892.23 level, right? NVIDIA here has down into that 877 was the bounce point yesterday, which was a pretty much spot on level right there. And then we were mindful of that 89223. When it got above there, that's when the NQ started to actually make the rally, right? So I did mention anything above that 892.23 pushing up into 900 should get the NASDAQ to do some sort of bullish behavior, and what do you know, it did. Apple selling off as per the usual. 168.98 sold off. Yesterday's low is down here at 168.24. So that low is coming into play almost right now. So we'll see if it flushes that on the open or not. We're about 2 minutes away from the open. Microsoft also selling off. So everything kind of giving you that next little peek into the leg down, right? Microsoft has an interesting level right around here. I'd say that's the most interesting recent level right there. And then anything flushing that, you got the low there at 417, and then down into that 416 level and 412. It's the pre-market espresso shot of the day. Always good, always smooth, the best. Cheers. Cheers to a good session. Let's see if we can get any opportunities. Like I said, we're on the overnight low. We're going to wait and see. Maybe it'll give us that opening range break, which I'm not certain on either way if it's going to, just because of the heaviness of what we got going on. Microsoft, like I said, pushing into that low there. And then you can see our NQ 30-minute chart here. Just a 5-minute. I'm going to put it back to 30. Nope. 30 there. You can see we broke down this trend line. Came back, retested. Now we're breaking down again. If we make new lows below yesterday's low, I do see 72 coming into play. If 72 cracks, then that flush down into 60 30s. That 18,000 number could even come into play just based on how heavy this was pre-market yesterday. So we are still sitting in this channel. We rejected it yesterday, but we are sitting on the low of it. Maybe if we don't make a new low here, and we get a bounce play right off this here at 220, 18,220, kind of pretty much right down here. So let's just wait and see, and we'll go from there. And we're open. So there's that opening range candle starting to push upside from that overnight low. I'm going to wait, let it close. It's going to be a pretty expansive candle already, right? You can see it creating this level here. I haven't changed these levels on the amp, so I'm just being mindful of that. This is a 78 tick opening range candle here so far, 80 tick opening range candle. So interesting. Hope everybody's having a good day. Had a good day yesterday. Looking to be patient, trying to catch that move, right? Right here, like I said, it is just kind of dancing around here on the open. Still a very indecisive candle. The S&P is looking like it wanted to wick off and go. There's that push downside. I want to let it dance around for a few minutes. We do have numbers at 8:45 and 9 o'clock, so 8:45 is global PMI services and composite. And then 9 o'clock is ISM. If we're going to be patient, if we're going to wait, let's wait. The rotation from overnight high to overnight low is interesting right here. Price is now seemingly like it's slowing down just a bit. So let's be watching that and be mindful. Microsoft just cracked that 419. Apple still just hanging around that low there at 168.98. And Nvidia catching a little bit of a bid. That opening range break did happen, so I want to see maybe a retest down into this purple area, a wick bottom on the overnight low, and then see if it'll start to rotate back out. It's a low risk play to rotate back to VWAP and overnight highs. Something that I'm willing to take early before the number release, just because I think there's going to be a lack of follow through on a breakdown. The only issue to me is that there is that previous day low right here. That's pretty close. So if we do get into that 220 area and we start to rotate back through that overnight low, I may be interested in a long. Right now, anything that just takes off on me, I'm not really going to look to get into right now. I'm just going to notate it again, see if it's something that plays out. Opening range, I'm going to just say, call it an opening range breakout, seemingly like it wants to play. Excuse me. Developing a new cough, which is wonderful. Russell getting strength. S&P broke above this consolidation on its chart, so the S&P showing relative strength. We haven't made it above here yet on the NQ. If we go into the 2 guy here, you can see the S&P did break above, while the NQ is still holding below that 81 level. That puts the S&P over VWAP and looking to push up. Nvidia is kind of just dancing around in the middle. We may not get an opportunity until after that 9 o'clock number. So that's something I'm just looking to be kind of standoffish on. We are close to overnight low, and I would like to rotate to overnight highs or even beyond. But if this number comes in hot, I would anticipate that final flush down through that 200, getting us down to 177 and even below, even probably into 18,000 as that lower target for the near future. If not today, if 200 cracks, then sometime by the end of the week, 18,000 gets tagged again. And for me to attempt some sort of opening range breakout here, we were super close to VWAP. It's right here, sitting on top. It's going to act as an overhead resistance here, especially, how yesterday was, right? Yesterday we were patient because this is what happened, right? This is the entire range we stayed in yesterday all the way until about noon. Then we started to sit on top of it. Once you got on top of this area here, it sat from there to there and didn't quite break out until 2:30. 2 o'clock, you got that first breakout retest. So let's call it 2 o'clock. So from open all the way till 2, you stayed pretty tight, pretty choppy. And to come out green on the day, I'm pretty happy. With that being said, we're still in that area, right? You can see this dotted line. We're still within that zone from yesterday. It's bouncing around. That's where yesterday's chop happened. That's where moves occurred. But, if we break down below this 68, maybe back down to the purple, and then into the overnight low is where we're going to head. But who's to say that we're going to get any information yet until those numbers come out saying which direction we want to go, right? Because ISM is a red folder event. So that's something that I'm going to I would like to have had positioned myself already, right, on the bounce off of this low, and then just kind of see if we'll continue to gain strength into the number, and then see if the number adds some strength to it. But not being in it already, then that's just on me to be patient and wait and just not do anything that's irrational, because there is no setup here, right? Up into 277 is right. This area here, 81 to 77, is a key level for me to stay below as a short, right? can see it here, see it here and here. Tilt is heavier short. It's 55% short, so people are in the mindset of shorting below the VWAP area, below this 81. Seems like 81's playing more than 77, but it's a zone. So NVIDIA pushed up to 892 and then failed it. Kind of just dancing around it. If it gets above 892.23, then I anticipate more of a rotation up to the highs. And then I got to wait. Because with it holding these lows, it's a good indication that that bullish sentiment kind of still lingers around here. Apple wicked his head above 69 and now it's trying to pop off above 69. So if it holds up there, it starts to rotate through. You're getting some strength into these Magnificent Seven names, and Microsoft comes right down into 419.27 and is kind of just sitting there waiting. You can see that here. Microsoft rolling some. Apple, like I said, pushing up through 169. NVIDIA and Apple seem to act negatively correlated, right? I've been saying that for the last few days. Anytime Apple breaks out, it seems like NVIDIA does the opposite. So NVIDIA rejected its level and Apple is pushing through it, which is, I find that super interesting. It just seems like the big money flows kind of bounce between the two. Right. And if you start to see NVIDIA pop off, I'm going to watch and see if Apple will keep going or if it's going to start to roll over. But Apple getting some strength, NVIDIA here, Microsoft still pushing lower, with Apple pushing up. And then I'm going to take off leave Apple on top and Microsoft on the bottom. I'm going to put it on the 5 so I can see some more intraday action. Well, so there's that rotation. That opening range trade did play out, but it was a little bit wider for me to think that that's where I wanted to get an entry. Maybe that pull back into the purple area and then set that stop there. That gives you from 57 to 67 to... So it's 20 points. You could have caught $400 per contract on it. I 60. Yeah, about 20 points. So it's a good little move there to VWAP. That would have been a nice little catch. But also, like I said, I didn't trust this move because of the way things are going to get heavy. I only trusted it because of the number coming out at 45 and 9 o'clock that markets kind of didn't want to dump and get below and into the areas where it's going to start to melt off prior to getting that number out. Microsoft catching a little bit of a bounce here from 419. Apple rejecting 168, 169. And I'm going to assume NVIDIA is starting to hold above. Nope, 888. That's right where it's at, 888. I'm starting to rotate down. I think you're going to get some chop. You're going to stay within this range from yesterday. All right, yesterday we didn't really start to break out until we got above 92. Even really more so, yeah, I'll call it that level right there is at 96.50 down into 92. That's really where we didn't start to push up and move to that high. Until then, I think we're just kind of waiting. We are having a higher low here. Low of yesterday. So far, the low of today here at 834 3/4, even though it's just a touch lower. I think that was the... I'm going to leave it where it is, but that's pretty much it. You can see S&P is showing more relative strength, so there is a divergence here between the two. S&P above VWAP, above a key level of 52 and 3/4. And S&P, NQ is still holding below that 81, right? The consolidation here, breakdown happened, and we still have yet to really clear and hold. S&P above that level, holding above that VWAP. So maybe if we do get above this VWAP here, then you're going to get that full rotation to overnight highs. If you break through overnight highs and rotate through, then we look for a long, if it's going to hold, we'll call it above 18,320. Gives us a hold. We rotate higher up to that level above, maybe into 18,400. I'd say right into that area there could be that next level of interest, 414. If we fail that overnight high, right, we get a little wick off action and we start to rotate back down. Short overnight high down to overnight low and beyond could be an option. So those are the kind of plays I'm looking for. Then if we flush this overnight low here, I'm going to look for the same thing on the other end, a flush of the overnight low, a hold. I really need to break down from 220 down through 200. If I'm going to front run the break at 200, that's where I'm going to try and get in, and then down to 177. And like I said, if it starts to break, 18,000 is coming in sometime. If not today, sometime this week. If S&P starts to fail VWAP, then you're going to start to see this all roll over. I think, like I said, relative strength within the S&Ps as opposed to the NQ. Microsoft trying to push through that low, kind of just lingering there. NVIDIA went up to 892, rejected, and now is pushing down, trying to get to low of pre-market session is 881. That's where it opened pre-market. But I really think the more important level is probably 883.90, 883.81 down to 883.69. You tell me if you see an opportunity here. I don't. Unless you're shorting off a VWAP or you were long from that open up into VWAP. Otherwise, for me, I don't see a plus kind of opportunity. We're trying to stick to those this week and beyond. I'm doing my best to just take that 1 to 2. If I see a third A plus type setup on a day, if I'm sitting here long enough, I'm here 8:30 till 11 every day. So if I see an opportunity, fade overnight lows, fade overnight highs, or play the break and continuation, depending on the direction that we're going. If we're going to do a longer term analysis here, like I said, we are in a downward channel on the NQ. I'm going to go into a 30-minute chart here, and we'll go up, extend to the right. Okay, that's where we're at right now. We're going to go into our chart there. You can see us right here, right? We got that big run up, and now we've been sitting up, down into this channel. We broke out of that channel, right? Failed breakout, went up into 588 again, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, rotated back down to the channel, which ends up being at my key levels here, right? 18,439. Broke through there, started a big flush yesterday, right back down to the bottom of the channel, another break. These channels are clearly relative, right? If we were on a daily chart, you would see it a little bit differently. It would be more wick action and in, wick action and back in. So we're back sitting on that bottom end of that channel. Like I said, I think down into, even if you don't make a new low, anywhere from 220 down to 200, still keeps you within this channel, still could give you that next bounce up to the high side. The only difference is you have this longer term uptrend being broken, right? S&Ps and SPYs, they broke that yesterday as well. We ticked our head back up in there. We got a nice wick, kind of rotated back in. If you start to rotate back above, let's call it 850, and we start to rotate back in, could rotate all the way back up to highs, calling this a false breakdown of this upward trend. If we start to crack lower and we break down through that 177, that 172, start to push down into 18,000, that's when this is going to really start to give you, I would guess, a pretty decent sell-off. I would guess down that initial first target would be, with that big crack, could come down into that 17,829. So longer term kind of ideas here. This is a line in the sand area. Today is a decision point, although we could just stay choppy right around this 77 level all the way to the top end of this channel, right? That's a time correction. Price correction would be a bounce. So we need to see something along those lines. If it's going to break out of this, then it may base out and go, or it may base out and rally. You got to let price action tell you what it's going to do. But we are still sitting below that trend. You could see it came right back up into it, rejected it on a 30-minute basis, and we're rotating back down. So like I said, I want to see, it's got to break that 220 to 200 level for it to continue down into that 172 and beyond. And that's where we're looking at right now. But we need to get these numbers. So this first number came out, 45 here. It came out as 52.1. Forecast was 52.2. And then global services came out in line at 51.7. This is the number we're waiting for. Excuse me. The number we're waiting for is this ISM services number at 9 o'clock. That may give us that algo movement, and then we'll be able to see maybe if there's a direction that this market wants to go. Although, like I said, Microsoft is bouncing off its low, 419, pushing up into 420. I'm going to put Apple on the top. Apple trying to break through 169 once again, still just kind of chopping around there. NVIDIA also still just kind of chopping around in the middle. But the only thing I see here on the S&Ps is this little bit of a rising wedge type pattern above this VWAP. If it cracks the low of this and then cracks VWAP, I think everything else starts to follow down. If not, if we break out and go above, up into 52.63, that's potentially that next upside move here. So you're starting to see a little bit of a rising wedge. To me, this is right what I look for shorts at key levels. But that's not a key level for right now. I mean, it could be because there's been some interest here on the overnight. At this point, without me having any sort of entry criteria met for the session at the moment, we're going to wait till 9, so we're not going to execute anything. If you see me click any buttons, yell at me, throw something at me. I don't know how you could do that over a computer screen, but figure it out, because right now I don't have a setup. And if I start to call it out, tell you what I'm looking at, it's just all analysis based. I'm not looking to execute. If it happens without me, it happens without me, but with that number, I don't trust it to do whatever it's doing prior to it coming out. So you don't need to, like I said, I kind of reiterate it on a day-to-day basis, but I kind of want to make it be known. You don't need to know what these numbers mean, right? If you're like, I can't keep up with PMI and this and NFP and all this stuff, you don't have to. If all you know is that it's happening, it'll keep you out of bad trades if you could just stay out. All I want you to do is recognize that when these numbers come out, there's algos that just pop on, pop off. You get whipsaw action, and then after a few minutes, price starts to settle down, and you get back into a normal kind of trading environment. You should start to learn what each number means, and if it comes in higher or lower, kind of what that will create as far as what the Fed's going to do. But realistically, you don't need to know much of that. Like I said, I think as long as you know that they are happening, just get Trading Economics. It's a free website. Go to it every day. Go to US if you're trading, US markets. If you're trading different type of forex or equity, other indexes that are influenced by global, data, then go for it. But right now, the hot ticket item is if the Fed is going to cut rates anytime soon. and these are the numbers that are going to be important for that. So J Powell talks at 11. I'll be done trading by then. I may just leave the screen on and let him talk just so we can hear what he's going to say. But realistically, he's just going to say the same thing. Inflation is still high. We got to let it come down, yada, yada, yada. Algos are going to bounce on around, or it's just going to get dead like it did during his testimony with Congress and the House. So we're waiting for this 9 o'clock number to come out. ISM expansion is over 50. Trying to give you a description if I could read it. Here's the forecast. They forecast it to be down in June, up in September, down in December. So this is their forecast, kind of seasonality based. Well, we're just going to wait, see what happens with it. Trading economics for me gets a little wonky sometimes. It'll show the numbers, and then if I go back off the screen, come back to it, it'll not show the numbers. So I just got to refresh it, and the numbers will come back. So, but like I said, just get into trading economics, Forex Factory, anything that you can find economic data releases. I like trading economics the best. It's the most clean, easy to use. You can set your countries. You can set the impact to the lowest level that you want to be interested in, right? You could just set it purely to red folder events. I do have some interest in these 2-star events. That's why I have it on 2 stars most of the time. That is like a medium impact on the economic status of the United States and what kind of impact it may have on the markets. So I do like a 2-star medium term type impact. But most things that are going to move are going to be these red folder algo driven type movements, right? So that's why we have that out there. We're going to wait till 9, see what happens. Still don't have much. We're just sitting at VWAP here. S&P's sitting flat. I would anticipate they stay flat pretty much until 8:55. You'll start to see the dome start to speed up and move around. I actually am going to send out a ticket support. Interesting. I gotta reach out to them about my level 2s. I do pay for it, and I don't see the level 2s. There's got to be a setting, maybe. Close. I don't see it. Microsoft and NVIDIA both kind of just lingering around. NVIDIA more so at the highs, looking to break through 892, and Microsoft down at the lows, looking to hold below 420. But if it could break above 420, we could look to see that breakout. Finally getting above VWAP here on the NQ, but we're running into this resistance here at 81, right? You got tilt at 55% long. This could just continue to rotate higher until that number, and then we can maybe just continue our move up, or it's going to go the other way. I'm going to watch both on that release and see if I get any sort of divergences, right? If you could see S&P maybe wick down and then start back up before the NQ starts back to the high side, or the opposite, right? If it goes the other way and wicks down and then goes up, or wicks up and goes down, whatever way. If you could see that, if the S&P leads you a little bit, then you might want to, cheat on your entries some. But realistically, like I said, we're dead center. We're on VWAP. We're between the overnight high, overnight low, between the previous day high, previous day low. We're having an inside day so far. And the chop is happening right here at VWAP. So another day of just being patient through the morning, through the first half hour. through hourly closes. On Monday, I only traded after 1 hour of trading. So I was Monday, I think it was 9:50. So I think it was an hour and a half almost that I didn't execute a trade. And then yesterday, I didn't execute until 10:30, so 2 hours. It took me 2 hours to wait for a trade. So today could be very similar. We could even have no trades if nothing A plus sets up. Right now we're looking at a little bit of a maybe even a head and shoulders with VWAP as resistance if this number comes in light, right? If it's in deflationary, if it comes in at under 50, I would expect this thing to just rip higher. It's not going to come under 50. But that would be a surprise, right? Surprise under 50. That would mean deflationary. If everybody living in the real world knows that it's not possible for this to be a deflationary environment. But that would just be, like I said, that would be a surprise. That's not something that's actually going to happen. And that's something that would give you that pop and run and continuation. Right now, we're looking at probably an inline number. Give or take a few tenths. Tilt's 50-50. Price action is very slow, waiting for the number to come out. You're not getting big moves. And that level, that 81 to 77 level, it's an important level for me on my longer term chart. But it's also important from this early pre-market. So we will be interested in it come time. But really, I want to kind of be away from it. I want to be away from VWAP. If I'm going to target VWAP, or I'm going to use it as a continuation through the overnight low and through the previous day low. Or if we get a failure, rotate back up, then we start to target VWAP and beyond, right? If it gets through this level, then up through the highs is anticipated. But 220, I would like to watch it at 220, see if it fails it and rotates back up. Could the NQ be leading us downside? What is the Russell doing? Russell is pushing down, but still holding above the opening range high. Everything is over the opening range high. S&P is a little bit further off from the high of the opening range, so it's up a bit higher compared to the NQ and the Russell. Both tried to tick down within the opening range. We have Delta kind of just acting lower highs. Higher lows and higher highs. So higher high, higher low, lower high, but a higher high. Give you a bit of a sell-off. Now you get a higher high on Delta, higher low on Delta. So you are pushing up off of it. We have 1 minute till this candle, or 30 seconds till this news comes out. Watch the dome, watch it speed up, watch the algos kind of kick in, and then watch them settle down depending. That first move is usually a manipulation. I want you to watch this. It doesn't really matter what the number is. I just want you to watch it. There's the first push up, and the number comes in at 51.4, and consensus was 52.7. So it's going to go upside because that means it's creeping downward, right? Numbers creeping down, and that gives you that upside move, right? 51.4 as opposed to 52.4. That's actually a pretty decent beat, right? It's a whole point. So it's something that's going to give them ideas on moving upside and rate cuts coming in sooner rather than later. So you see S&P pushing through. I didn't mark off overnight high and low, but you can see we're right at the overnight high now. Do we get continuation? This breakout here is pretty clean. I could have, not anticipated it, but like I said, as I mentioned prior to the number release, right? If it does come in lighter than that, if it came in under 50, I said this was just going to skyrocket. But the whole point beat is pretty good too. 51 as opposed to that. So we're at the overnight high. Technically not quite. That's the pre-market high. Previous day high is going to be that real line in the sand for me to be making some sort of interested maneuvers here. I'm going to switch back to just the NQ. I want to see if we fail this previous day high or if we do what I said, right? We're going to break above it, hold, give it some little bit of a correction, or even come back below it. If we start to push through it a second time, then we can rotate up to that 400 level, 414. I can't really limit my risk here right now, especially with the way I fade overnight highs on failed breakouts, right? Don't want to fade it right this second. I want to be patient with it, let it set up. We do now have the bullish idea on board. NVIDIA broke out 892 on its way to 900. Microsoft holding down lower as Apple breaking out above 169. That divergence between Apple and NVIDIA has kind of disappeared, but that number came in pretty good for these names. Microsoft not being strong. You get the break of this previous day high, you'll probably get a pretty strong move up through and into. There's no resistance here in the recent past. So as I mentioned, just kind of being patient on it. NQ1. This move up to the previous day high there. Then there's not much. 859. 18,359. So 60. We're going to be interested at 60 up to 380. 60 up to 80. And like I said, 400. That puts us back within the channel as well, the uptrend channel. We did make a high or low, and now we're entering back into that uptrend channel. That 60 is a line in the sand above. We're failing that previous day high, right? If I get a delta divergence, if I get a heavy tilt, if I reject this, push up to 60 and start to fail that previous day high and get below, let's call it this line here, I would start to look for that short to rotate back down to VWAP. However, with that number being a whole point lighter than anticipated, I could kind of see this pushing up the rest of the day. 50 to 60 would be relatively seemingly an easy 10 points, but like I said, it's running into some resistance here at that previous day high. NVIDIA pushing up. Like I said, if it goes up to 900, that continues our bullish momentum. You start to push back down into here. Then you rotate back to that previous day high. That might get me interested in that long above 50, right? If you push this down here and rotate up. I'll give it to that. I think that's an important level there because obviously it is rejecting it. Been doing a good job of being patient, letting things set up for me. This isn't a setup. This is just getting us to an area of interest, right? Now we're interested and we want to see if we're going to fail the breakout or if we're going to start to come back in, give you a pullback into that overnight high, and then give you a rotation back through that previous day high. That's kind of what kind of setup I would like to see to get a true good breakout where I can be comfortable with my risk. Really, right now, I think with that number, we may just kind of continue straight up. And that doesn't give me any sort of entry to get this. I did say any sort of break above here, 414 would be our first target, or not our first target, but it would be our target. I'm not sure if we'd continue to break above it and go through that. 60 to 80, that's going to give you some trouble. And then up and through 400 and 414. Maybe a break up into 80, a pullback at the previous day high, some sort of wick bottom, and then a rotate back up. That's something I'm looking for as well. You can see the delta played along just fine. Price is moving well. There's nothing here saying that this is going to come pull back right now. So S&Ps, if you took a long, you are absolutely crushing it. The opening range breakout played very nicely. You really would have taken no heat on it, right? If you would have risked to even the low of, not even that full risk, you could have risked to the low of this and not gotten stopped out. You got 1-2 touches, and then the third touch 280 with the number breakout. I mean, you're really looking at $2,000 at the moment, sitting there pretty nicely, 400 some odd ticks. You can see that resistance, it's slight little head and shoulders if you play that kind of pattern, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, number comes in good. Your breakout with a little bit of risk, right? You could have risked down to that low. It is 20 points. It is $400. So that is a little bit wide of a risk. You could have risked maybe even just below here, 73 to 83, maybe 10 points. Give yourself a tighter risk for the news to come out poor. But it came out light enough where these numbers just kind of took us to the high side and never turned back. There was no manipulation. It was just go. Said, as I mentioned, that 60 level is going to give it some trouble. 60 up into 80 is going to give it a little bit of chop. Microsoft finally getting involved in the bid, and NVIDIA pushed right up close to 900, but didn't quite get there. I can watch this for a lower high, and if we fail that previous day high, could take that short and see if we can first target that overnight high and then down to VWAP if it does not want to go through 60. But like I said, I think that number kind of just gave it any sort of reason to go upside and stop this downward trend momentum in its tracks. Back within the channel, rejecting that 60 level. Break back above 60. I could say the top end of the channel is 400. Maybe look to reject that 400, 414 level. And then start to rotate back down to 60. And then see if it wants to continue on and break through 414 and be bullish back up into all-time highs if it breaks through this downward channel once again. But we're just kind of watching and making sure that everything is kind of going, reacting to price action at our levels. That's not it. NVDA. Excuse me. NVIDIA rejected 900. Apple weakening. So there's that breakdown of the overnight high, previous day high. We're going to start to watch. There's a 71% short tilt, so a break back above this could give us that final that next leg up. So we are looking to see if we can get along. As I mentioned, if we can get down into here, kind of give us a divergence, delta pushing down. That's a good, strong delta push downside, though. I think a rotation back through the high gives us another leg up. Do you think that's the play of the day so far? It gives us the ability to limit some risk here. I guess buy stop here above that gives you from 50 down to 40. I could risk to here to this red line. This blue line gives you that little bit of a push through this high. Gives it some room where that could go. And then, like I said, up to 414 could be that target. So I'm going to give you the little potential position alert if we could break through here. Potential position alert. I'm throwing the sirens up there. I have the stop market out. See if we can get this. We kind of talk through it, right? If we can get a little bit of a whippy action There was a heavy tilt short here at 75% plus, potentially looking to get through here, get some shorts involved, and then rotate us back through the highs and beyond. Tilt, I want to see if we can get this delta to push up with us as we approach this high. But like I said, I'm not that I'm front running it. I'm looking to break through that previous day high and up into that higher level. See if we can break the high of the day again. And I'm going to risk 10 points here. If it fails and gives us a lower high and rotates down, then so be it. But I think that number coming in so much lower than anticipated gives this market a reason to go up. If we fail this overnight high again, previous day high, then the rotate back down, we may look to flip short if we get a failure and rotate ourselves and stop ourselves out. But at the moment, we're going to look to go long here. We are filled. We're risking that low of this candle here to see if we can rotate upside. If it fails this previous day high, then so be it. If we start to get closer up into this upper range there at 60, we're going to go closer to break even. Probably have our stop at the previous day high. Just planning it out. That's a heavy candle. I don't like that at all. We're going to be a little patient with it. Let it go up. Let it get to that 60. If we can get to 60, like I said, this is going to be a really important level there. That 60 level is important. The S&Ps are pushing upside. Russell's also pushing up. So things are looking like they want to continue on. We're playing that continuation. Not risking to low here. I'm risking back through this 40 level. I think that 40 level, if it does flush, it goes back downside. We are kind of flirting with that 60. I want to get above 60. Above 60 will give me some more comfort here. NVIDIA kind of rotating a little bit downside, which is not going to help me out. I want to just check the tilt. You can see we're starting to get some delta push to the high side, not quite making it up there, but it is helping. If we can get to 60, like I said, I'm going to try and get to break even. I think 60 is an important level. If we get through highs, then we will secure below 60. Right? That's just kind of our game plan. And then as we get through the highs, 80 is going to be another important level, right? So we're going to start to creep our stop up. So we're at 60. We're going to go to the area just, we'll leave it just below here. Below the previous day high. If it comes back down through there, then that's going to get us out. So like I said, 60 is actually a line in the sand. So if it fails 60, then we're out. So we're at break even, free trade. I am going to turn off the siren so it doesn't annoy you anymore. But we are in this trade. We are long. We had the plan of trying to take it through. If we get through the high, like I said, we're going to go to 60 as the stop. So 60 will be our stop through the highs. There we go. Getting through close to it. Break the highs. Stops at just at 60. That's my line in the sand. As we approach 80, we're going to go stops to 69.70 because I do believe 80s are going to be an interesting level to watch, right? We are just kind of trying to let this thing run, but at the same time, I'm mindful of some of these levels from prior. There we go, breaking through, up through 80. We are going to have our stop just below this candle here, securing ourselves at least another W on the week, and we're going to see how far we can let this run now that we're up in that 383 level. As we get up close to 400, 80 is going to be our stop, right? I think we can let this thing go a little bit. Nothing's telling me to get out quite yet. I'm going to check the delta. Delta's pushing. Like I said, 80.75 is a key level here. Delta's pushing good. We are in good shape. S&P's was pushing up. 80.75 is a good point of interest. So I'm going to go to 80 as my stop. Just below 80 here. Actually, fuck it. Yeah, just below 80. Just below 80. We're going to see if we can get this thing up and through 414 as our target. I So how I'm going to work this is I'm going to put this above 414. Let me find a better target. It's not going to matter because it's going to stop us out potentially. Oh, we'll see. It could. I'm going to find a new target for that above there. And then as it gets to there, I'm just going to trail it. NQ1. Above 439 is that next area of interest for me. 439 to 421. Let's go 440. If it hits off on that, I'll be happy. If we get up to 414, we're just going to continue to trail this super tight. If we get over 414, stops go right below. It doesn't matter because it looks like the stops coming into play. 80s, 79. And we are all out for a $562 win there. Can't be mad at that. I am very happy with the way I planned out that trade. Anything over 80, if it wanted to continue on, it continues on. If not, I wanted to secure that 80 mark. You do have some things that are telling us to get out, like 80, 75 being a good level. However, it could just continue to run and run and run and run and run and run and run. The idea that this was a pullback, get some strength. If I can have left my stop at 70, there's a chance that we do get that stopped out. So any break of 80, I didn't want to give back much more than that. Like I said, the 80s were they're a touchy level, 80s and 20s, and then even round numbers. So I trailed out as I saw fit. And there you go. You start to see that breakdown of 80. So we trailed out nice right there. We are going to give ourselves a little bit of we got long right here. Bang, bang. And we got out here at 79. So we'll give ourselves this candle here. Another day, another W. I'm going to lock myself out possibly soon. 79 even, I believe we got out. Let's check the fill. Our trade got us out at 78.75. 78.75. What's the coordinates on this? 78.75. I like to have these here just so I can, alrighty, win for 562.20. And this is going to go trade one. Okay, so we got our trade here. We talked out the reasonings to why we took this trade, why we alerted it, everything. If you're still trailing, good on you. Like I said, that below that 70, that break of the high, you could see now the break of 80 all the way up into, I said that target of 439, 440. I'd say 439 to 440 is going to be an interesting level to be watching for your next target. I'd say you run into some resistance definitely here at 414.75 if this does continue on. If it doesn't continue on, then you start to rotate back down here through, and then maybe we see a failure of the overnight high, but that'll be VWAP, so it'll be an interesting area to try and short. But I'm going to be cautious on this. NVIDIA looking like it wants to rally now through 900, so probably could give you some strength to keep this going. I trailed out how I wanted to. Could have left it at break even and let it run all the way up to targets, but early on in this funded account, we are already up for the week, 3 days, just over $1,000 on the account. So pretty happy with that. Can't be mad about it. If I do end up taking any trades on the day further from here, it's going to have to be a really, really A+ setup. I'm going to lock myself out come 11 o'clock. Or if I start to see some chop, I'll just hit that lockout button, and maybe we'll look to try and get one of these other combines funded for you. That's the reason I set this up the way I did. I like the Top Step X because I'm able to show you what I'm trading at the top of the screen. You can see I'm trading a funded account, 50K Express funded account. You can see my balance running for this week so far, how much I made this week. This is your max trailing drawdown. So as you make money here, this will trail up to 0. So if your account, if we get up to 2,000 here, this will be 0. So if we ever get our account down to 0, then we lose it. This is our green here is our P&L for the day. And then this box next to it will be your unrealized. So anything that's realized is in this first green box. Unrealized, you'll see in the second box that's here. And then your daily loss limit is $1,000. So this will show you a percentage of the daily loss limit. And then next to that, we have a lockout button, which you can't see on the screen because I've zoomed it in to where you can see what I'm actually trading. That's kind of why I like the way this Top Step X platform is laid out, for me to be able to show you transparently exactly what's going on in real time without me having to type in to my little ticker that I had going on what my P&L is. You could see running P&L, and you could see unrealized, realized. You could see everything that we have here is exactly, real time, fully transparent. I'm not blocking out any account information. I don't give a shit. You can look at my account. I don't really care. I just want you to see that it is a reality and I'm not faking it. You can see if I'm losing or winning. We've made 3 trades this week. When I do limit my trades to 1 to 2 trades a day, I know I'm not on tilt. I know I'm in a good mental space. So I am very happy with that. We played the breakout. We are scalpers, right? The less I trade, the better I do. The more I could recognize that, the better off I will be. And then having you guys here to keep me accountable, to just be out here showing you what I'm doing is it's great. I love having this community here. Tradecaster is fantastic. If you're over on YouTube, click on over to Tradecaster. It's a 7-day free trial. It doesn't hurt nothing to create an account, and you'll start to get so much good information from my room, from any other room that you kind of dump into. You want to do stocks, you want to do options, you want to do futures. I'm sure there's a Forex guy here. I haven't looked and seen that, but if you want to take this job seriously, create it as this is a business. This is what you want to do. This is going to give you that opportunity to improve your life a little bit, if not a lot, if you just do it the right way. And I think if you come into the community over here on Tradecaster, you're going to start to see that there's a lot of people in here that have very similar mindsets, maybe different trading strategies, so you can find what you want, but it's all trading all the time. You'll see people streaming throughout the day whenever you're available, right? I do 8:30 to 11. Some guys do all day. Some guys do overnight. Whatever your taste is, then that's what we'll do. 8:30 to 11 for me is what I'm going to be doing for now. As this grows, if I can get my viewership to be at a level where I need to be on all day to accommodate everybody, then I will do that. That'll mean that I've gotten to a level where I no longer have to go to work, but that's, not yet. So the trading and the streaming is the thing that I'm going to do in the morning. I do my coffee business in the midday, and then I go to work come 2 o'clock, and I work till 10 p.m., and we just repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. If you are interested in any coffee, we're basically like Black Rifle, but for traders, right? I'm trying to fuel people's trading adventure here. I saw a niche. I saw that there was nobody targeting our community, and I wanted to provide the best trading fuel there is, right? We have 10 different roasts from espresso all the way down to decaf. So whatever your flavor is, whatever you desire in a coffee, we probably have it. We have single origins, we got blends, we got everything you could want, from Colombia to Guatemala to Ethiopians. I think we do have a quite a good blend, and we got swag like these mugs. I'm not wearing a shirt right now because I ran out to bring my son to school and just grabbed a shirt, but we got the hats. Whatever you want, head over to the website. You could use my username Policing Pips for 15% off all the time. Just use my name. The NASDAQ still pushing up, looking to target that 414, but you could see this little bit of a rising wedge here. So if it does break down at all, if you start to see any sort of delta divergence here, you may start to get a breakdown of that 80 level again. But like I said, that 414 target pretty much coming in without much resistance. If we didn't get stopped here on this wick, I probably would be still in this because of my trailing rule. Basically, I was down below 70 here. I probably would not have got stopped out. That's very close to getting stopped right there. But I secured 562. Like I said, I'm a scalper. I'm very tight with some of my trails as I'm making money on these future contracts. Because like I said, the NQ could turn around from 80 down to the entry like that real quick. So I kind of understand the dynamics of NASDAQ where I want to secure my profits kind of quick. I'll take 562 on a day. If I can make 562 every single day, I'm doing a really great job, right? On one single trade. But our target was tagged. So if you did stay in and you trailed and you left your trail either at break even or at 70, you probably didn't, or just below 70 at 69. I'm saying below this candle. If you were still in below that high, you tagged off on that, and that's a $1,000 winner for you. So really, really good trade. If I was trading multiple contracts like I may do starting next week with a little bit of a buffer, I would like to add, if you do 2 here, you take off 1 with the trail, leave 1 at break even, let it run, and then trail that other one as you see fit, kind of moving up. I would have probably been trailed out on both at this point if I had 2 on. Because like I said, if I got above 414, I would have probably thrown it right here. So that's a $1,500 trade with 2 contracts. If you decided to leave it down here and just see what happens, or even below this candle, still you've secured, pretty good move there. I actually believe that was a $1,500 move, this entire thing. So it's from, where did we enter? Our entry was trades. Entry price was 350.50. 350.50. And say we got out at 414 even. If you do the math right here, 350 minus 414, that's 64 points, times 4 ticks, times $5, 1280. I don't know why it's negative because I did it backwards. Yeah, $1,200 move per contract up from entry to target. We took half. If, like I said, if I had 2 on, the first one would have been trailed out right there. Second one probably out already on that 414 because, like I said, I was going to bring it in close to 414 as I got close. But that was with 1 contract. My strategy with multiple contracts more so would be take 1 off. Here, leave it at break even and then trail it through. So you probably be down here. If you start to see the failure and break below 400, then you'd probably be banging out, or you'd be trailed just below 400, still securing more of the move with multiple contracts. Now that we're at 414, the top end of this channel still hasn't gotten tagged yet, although it still made. I think that 426 level could be interesting. 426 even, right? 426. So, I mean, it's close enough to that, 414 to 426. I'd be mindful of that. And then obviously, like I said, this purple zone right up here, that was that gap from the overnight. We did take some trades there. The reasoning behind our long trade today. So we're going to go ahead and talk through this because I'm not looking to enter anything right now. This is still would be the same trade, same entry criteria. We are looking at price action was stuck in the range from yesterday, right? This whole range from yesterday. This was the previous day high. I like to play either fades or breakouts of previous day highs, overnight lows, and previous day lows. We were holding below this 81 level here. You could see holding. Once we got to 81, right at the number release, somebody's calling me from Nassau County. Once we got the release on the number, it came in 1 whole point lower than anticipated. I think this tagged 26. So it tagged 26 and gave you a wick off there. So be careful. This may be the end of the run for now. This will be where it maybe takes a break. So if you are in from the short, in from the long, potentially look, I said that 26 is the top end of the channel, 26 and then up to 40. So like I said, anywhere in this range, you may want to just be cautious. You probably run into some choppiness or some resistance here. If it runs through, then this just means this market's super strong. We were mentioning that the entry criteria here, resistance. We got that number, came out really light, 1 whole point, right? The ISM Services PMI was anticipated to be 52.4, came in at 51.4. Anything over 50 is expansionary. However, that whole tick down, that 1 whole point down, showing that the economic inflation environment is starting to slow a bit, and that's going to give the Fed some reason to possibly cut rates. You know, they still want to cut rates 3 times this year, potentially may move that up if they see that easing happening, right? So we got that big impulsive move. I said I can't trade that because, I mean, unless I was going to set my stop order here with a really tight stop to just take that quick risk on it, you know, you could have taken that trade. Good on you. I'm not trading middle of zones. That's what gets me in trouble. So I waited for the previous day high and the overnight high to come into play. I said if we break above the previous day high, fail it, but don't quite break down through the overnight high, that another rotation back through the previous day high is going to give us continuation to the upside, possibly to 414, right? I had 414 drawn up here, talked it out, and then we got the break. I had my stop order here just above this breakdown candle. A failure of that led to us getting the breakout. We trailed our stop from below previous day. I had my stop initially at 440 because I think if we break through this, we're rotating back down. I'm getting stopped out anyway, so that was my stop, 10 points, 200 and change. We basically got a 2-to-1 out of this, maybe a little bit more, because I tightened my stop. Once we got up into that 60 was that previous point of congestion, went to basically just below previous day high, limiting our risk to about 100. And then we kind of just trailed as we saw the price breaking above the highs. We went to 60. As we broke up into 80, we went to 70. With a hold above 80, I wanted to get just below that at 79. We got filled at 78.50 for a nice little move. And we got up right into our target at 414. So our levels played out really, really nice. If you have any questions about it, on why I took it, I pretty much explained right there how it was done. However, and why my targets were what they were, right? 414. And you can see now that we're there, 414 to 426, you're going to see a little bit congestion. I mean, that number came in pretty light, so this could just continue on the rest of the day as a trending type day. Next target would be 440, and beyond 440, you're looking at the lows of 60s, 460, and then maybe, you know, as we're breaking through, that would be the top end of the channel. So then you'd have to be mindful maybe that we're going to break into all-time highs once again. So that's what we're kind of watching with this now, because we're right back at the top end of that channel. We recovered everything that we gave up on that overnight sell-off for the most part last night. Not last night, but the night before. So we're in that area of interest at 439, 440, 426. It's got to hold 414, right? I said this is going to be a congestion area, 426 to 414. So right now you can see we got there, and now we're congesting. Price just wants to get to areas where it's going to be transacted, and if the price is going to be bought or sold at that location, you may start to get some chop. NVIDIA broke above 900 and starting to rotate up to 906, so you might get some more strength coming in. Overall, I think for the most part, I am going to be lacking any sort of entry ideas until we get up into that congestion there. If we do get into that 460 to 500, this was the gap open from Sunday to Monday. So we gapped from Thursday to Sunday. We gapped this and rallied. If we start to get up in there and start to hold and then break above, that might give me a trade opportunity, but that's a long ways away for me to do before 11 o'clock. I think time horizon wise, I don't think 11 o'clock we're going to get into here for a continuation. You might get some resistance and some rejection at that 500 level. I don't think I'm going to get another trade out of this. That was probably it for the day. I am going to do this. I'm going to lock myself out of this. Manual lockout. Yes, lock me out. So now you see this account has been manually locked out. Trading will not be available until the next market open at 5 p.m. Central Time. So this, to me, is going to be my biggest tool to help me avoid giving back gains, tilting. If I see myself take more than 1 or 2 losses in a row, I'm going to hit this button. I don't want to ever hit my daily drawdown limit. Those are the days that you get yourself into trouble. And with TopStep X providing this awesome tool, I know there are other platforms like Tradeovate has a lockout tool. You can set it, you can program it in, and if you hit it, you're locked out on both the profit side and on the loss side. However, you can unprogram it, right? I've done it. I've programmed it in, and I'm like, I can make it back, or I can make more, and you end up giving it back. If you go out of your way to unprogram it, this, I can't go into there. I can't do anything. I am locked out until market open tonight, right? So I've made my money for the day, 562.20. We're going to stay on. We're going to talk through it. I might go into another combine here and try and pull them out of drawdown because I've just traded them overnight and tried to mess with them here and there, trying different strategies and stuff. So that's what I kind of use the combines for if I'm not close to passing them. And then also I kind of just try some sizing stuff, oversizing and just kind of manipulating my abilities. But my funded account, we are up for the week $1,016.60. Today we're up $562.20. We're not going to risk giving any of that back because we did hit off right on our target right here at 414. Pretty happy with the day. Overall, would have been nice to been a little more patient with the trail, but I'm a scalper. Like I said, I'm not. My time horizons are short. I would love to be able. I could see these moves, coming, and maybe as my buffer gets bigger and bigger and bigger, we'll start to trade a little more size, and then this will just become bigger wins. As I feel that I have a bigger buffer, I can allow my stop to be just a little bit wider and give back a little bit more within that to make a little bit more. So it's just all relative to my account size, to kind of how I trail and how I allow things to kind of run out on me or not. Realistically, once this balance goes over 2,000, we can start to maybe add a second contract in there and give it, take some off as we start to scale into this and get bigger and bigger. We are in an area where we've had now 3 trading days. The minimum requirements for withdrawals on TopStep is you have to trade 5 days of over $200 profit. Currently, we're at 3 days, but yesterday we didn't make 200. We made 150. Could have made 2. We trailed a little bit looser yesterday, and then got stopped out, and then it ran to our targets just like this. So, but we had to be with the way it was chopping around, just securing what we were going to secure. A little one-to-one action was not going to hurt anybody. So, like I said, if you like the trade analysis here, the reasoning behind why I entered this, could have even cheated on it a little bit more. But like I said, I wanted to play the true break, be sure that I was going to be right on this, give myself every opportunity to eliminate any risk and take the money that it's going to give me and move on, right? So thank you guys for following along. If you're on YouTube, give me a like. If you're on the Tradecaster platform, go in there. And why is it showing the wrong stuff? I don't understand. So yes, this is our profit curve for the week. On Monday, we made 302.20. On Tuesday, we made 152.20. And today, we made 562.20. If you go daily balance, a nice smooth curve to the upside. We want to just continue to have our curve moving on up, right? You can see right here, we're only taking, it's saying 2 total trades, but it's really only 1. I think it's just showing executions. We only took 1 trade each day, and we manually locked ourselves out after each one of those. So That's why. I'm like, why is it showing the wrong? That's why. Silly. But there's our week so far. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're just going to continue to look for these A plus type opportunities. And then once we get through these A plus opportunities and through the week, every week is just going to be the same deal and just try to repeat. And take this long-term idea, keep it going. We are 100% trades on the week. That's not going to happen every time. You're not going to, there's times that this is just going to fail, right? This idea here was a good idea, but it's also part of my fade idea, right? Because if this failed, it got above like 60, didn't make a new high, we got a delta divergence, and you start to fail that previous day high. That's my criteria to start shorting, right? Right here, we just had a strong economic number, and the breakout just kind of happened in the way that we described, so we had to take the long on it. Could it have rolled over and went the other way? It could have. But at this point, just based on our analysis, the long had to have come in, which it did. And our target at 414 obviously is a pretty important level based on the way it's just got there and completely consolidated. So if you want to learn a little bit of how I get my levels, how I do my day-to-day analysis, I'm almost a perma bear in this kind of current environment, but I've started to learn over the past year or so that the market is kind of rigged to go up. So it's just very difficult to short and get this. But obviously everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to say, oh, it's going to go short, it's going to go long. Everybody wants to call the market. Right now, we're just kind of continuing within our downward channel, but also we're holding an uptrend longer term, right? So medium term. Over the past few weeks, we're in a downtrend. Over the past year, we're in an uptrend. So we're kind of fighting our dynamics here. So level to level and using our long-term analysis, our long-term levels to trade on an intraday short-term basis, right? Because these moves will happen and they have to get to where they're going to go. So you want to just catch a little piece of it. If you're a long-term swing trader, you got your own personal account, you can position a little bit more than you can within the prop firm industry, right? We are doing a trader meetup next week, Friday the 12th in New York City. If you are interested, Deck has posted all the information multiple times. If you are on YouTube, head over to the Tradecaster link, find out more information about our trader meetup. New York City, 230 Fifth Avenue. It's a rooftop bar. I've been there a few times. It's great. Good views of the Empire State Building. We're going to have a really good conversation with some of the streamers that are going to be there. Me, myself. We're going to do, Deck is going to be there. I think AK is going to be there. A few other streamers that are here every single day providing good value. You can meet them in person, touch them. Maybe don't touch them. But they are real people. So we're not just people behind screens. So come on out, meet us, have a good time. We'll talk trading, talk building this community to bigger and better levels. Then come Saturday, we're doing a little bit of a behind-the-scenes sneak peek viewing for just the traders, streamers out here. And we're going to be doing something pretty big come May. So just look out for that. I'll be posting more information about it as it comes out as it's official, okay? But right now, we are very happy with our day today. I locked myself out. You can see realized profit right there of 562.20. And we will be kind of just hanging out here, waiting, making sure that we don't miss out on another opportunity for maybe potentially one of our combines here. This one here. Like I said, I've been practicing on some of these other ones on the overnight, just trying to get trying some size stuff, looking to work on some other strategies. So that's what I use some of the other combines for, especially when they're in a little bit of a drawdown. I kind of just go for it. And I have some skin in the game with the combine because you do have to pay for them. But also at the same time, I'm trying to just do, what's good for me. I did turn them off, right? I have to set that siren for setup alert. I try to make it only one siren, but it got messed up. All right, well, while we're here, let's see if we could edit this siren alert. Set up alert. I want to... Maybe I can make the sound lower. Maybe we don't loop it. Okay, so... You can see a delta divergence here. You're making a new high, but delta's not quite moving on up. Let's see what the tilt's looking like. 66% short. There are people here thinking that this high end of the channel may be the rejection point. Like I said, this 414 area was going to act as our target. That's the reason it was our target. 414 up to 426. There's going to be some interest there, congestion. This could continue to break out. However, right now it appears that it is acting as a potential area for short. Yeah, I'm not really looking right now for it. We are up 5 on the day, 562, and we secured it. I locked myself out of this account. So far, so good. 3 days in a row makes... Sorry, I'm getting rid of some stuff. Yeah, so 3 days, one trade each day. Just doing our best to limit our entries to only our best setups and minimize our risk to the downside while maximizing our ability to make profits, right? With being funded and having these accounts, once you get funded, learn to take it slow, learn to limit yourself in the beginning. Every single time prior to this that I've been funded, I've literally been in drawdown immediately every single time. Except for one, I've been in drawdown and then I built myself back out of it. That's the case as well. However, most of the time I'm like so excited to get back in, let's get it. And then we just, I'll hammer into something that's not necessarily the right move, or I'll oversize a little bit right away and kind of screw myself. And then you're just digging out of a hole, constantly digging out of a hole. And you don't have that same mental clarity to be able to continue the steady, slow growth that this account needs with these funding prop firms, right? If you are somebody that has a bunch of prop firms and you're able to, a prop accounts, funded accounts, and you're able to kind of size up and go for that home run out every single day, good on you. If your setup happens, let's say a third of the time, and you're able to risk full max contracts on a 100K account and you have a $3,000 drawdown, you could risk $1,000 a day for 3 straight days. And, if you hit off on one day, every other day, every third day, then you might be able to make quite a bit of money on it. But that, there's a chance you go 0 for 3 and now you're out, you lost your account and you got to redo the whole combine again, take some time. So right now, for me, for the streams purposes, for everything like that, I want you guys to just learn. If you do pass the combines, come out here and take your time, wait for your setups, be patient, don't overtrade. Overtrading is my nemesis. I'm working on it every single day. It's a constant battle. And like I said, I think Top Step is great for implementing this manual lockout. I'm grateful for it. It helps me decide, because realistically, right, I can consider possibly shorting this here from our target level. But right now it's not. This isn't an entry criteria. This is just chop. This is slow moving. But maybe in the past, hey, I made some. I'm gonna make some more. I might look to enter long. I might look to enter short. Just take your money, run. If you're done trading by 9:30, 10 o'clock, be done. Go out, enjoy your day. If you lock yourself out the opposite end, if I lost 2 to 500, right? Lock myself out because it's getting away from my opportunity that I usually use on a day-to-day basis, right? I use previous day highs, overnight lows. Now it's a continuation from those levels. The only time I'll get another trade opportunity is if it peaks itself into one of my major levels, which would now be 440, right? Up into 440, up into this purple zone. That's when I'd start being interested in something else, maybe short side, or if it's going to continuation, look for some sort of pattern in for a continuation. But I don't get interested again until I get back within our range of the previous day, the overnight, and then maybe look to kind of clean that up again, right? Maybe a short through the overnight high into the overnight low, because that would tell us that we're getting a lot of weakness coming back in. We're back below VWAP. There's a lot of reasons to get into this trade. But right now, like I said, by the time I'm getting off the stream at 11, I don't think that sets up. So that's why I locked myself out when I did, just securing my P&L, right? I'm going to leave this the way it is, the stream the way it is for the time being, or for forever, for while I have this, because I think it's good for you to see which account I'm using, what my running balance is. Obviously, once this gets to zero, it's going to stay at zero, so this will not change. But then also you can see my realized and unrealized P&L. You can see what kind of drawdown we're in. You can see what kind of profit we're sitting in at the moment. We weren't really trading P&L here. I really wasn't sure how much I was up. I wasn't looking up here. I had an idea. I could tell kind of by how far the price has moved. But we were trading just kind of the price action and levels that I was interested in based on my 80 levels failing a lot of times. So that's why I trailed out on that one. That big press up, kind of thought anything above 80 should hold. It kind of whipped down on below 80 and got us out, and then moved on to our target. So, just kind of thinking through the analysis. You can see how flat now we are at our target, 414, pretty much spot on. All right. Nothing doing for me. Price action has flattened out. Coming into the 10 o'clock hour now, I don't make any trades. Obviously, within the last 5 minutes of an hourly close, I kind of want to see what's going on here, especially at the top end of this channel. We do have some room for that channel to kind of maybe get wicked off again up into that 40 and then rotate back down. If it does start to rotate back down through this 414 area, like I mentioned, we are getting a delta divergence. You're not making new highs. However, price has flattened out. So has delta. So any sort of pop in the delta probably gets you a bit of a pop. Like I said, I'm mentioning the reason for the out, obviously, but also the target. And then at the same time, we're looking to see, the reason I would say this possibly continues on through this, once it gets through that 26 level up through 40, is because just the way that number came out and any sort of economic release. In about an hour, Jay Powell is going to talk. He's going to give a speech. His speech could move markets, could not, could just make everybody pause, and you get more flat price action the rest of the day. In anticipation of what he's possibly going to say, this price may just start to move down so people can get better prices to get back to the upside. Same deal. It could be anticipating him saying the same thing over again. We're going to cut rates, but not yet. We're looking at this, that, and the other thing. It could pop up and then rotate back down. Right now, I do think we're going to stay flat for at least maybe until this 10 o'clock hour and then see what happens from there. We are going to start doing giveaways over on TradeCaster as the viewership grows, as will the giveaways. Once I hit off on 50 viewers, we are going to give away $100 worth of Day Trading Coffee Co. swag and coffee, which is cool. If you like coffee, if you don't, then pick a bunch of swag and we'll get it over to you. That, and then once we start, hitting off on that pretty consistently on a week-to-week basis, we'll probably start giving away either some TradeCaster accounts, maybe some cash, more swag, more money, trading style stuff. Maybe I'll pay for some TradingView memberships, all over, whatever we can do to help out the community. That's what I'm going to be doing. But like I said, we're going to do giveaways pretty frequently as the viewership gets up over that 50 mark. And then if we get over to that 100 mark, we're going to start having parties in here. Every week, like I said, we're trying to grow this, build it. Next week, we are, like I said, having a trader meetup in New York City. It's all covered. So if you want to come in, meet up, 235th Rooftop Bar right over there by the Empire State Building. It's pretty cool. I really like that area. That bar, pretty cool. Have a lot of good information. Deck's going to be there. AK, myself, a few other streamers. It's going to be a good event. You'll be able to talk to us, get some good information about streaming, about lifestyle stuff, really connect with the community, and make it a reality, right? Make it something that where we can all become closer and become an actual community, right? So I hope you guys can get over there. If you're in the New York tri-state area that day, come on over. I think it's 5 p.m. He's looking to start it. Then just kind of look out for more announcements through TradeCaster. I'm going to continue posting on Instagram over there, and all my socials are all the same, at Policing Pips. Instagram, YouTube, TradeCaster, all at Policing Pips. I do have a Twitter or an X, but I don't use it really. So same deal, at Policing Pips. Made a good call today. We have been level to level all week. Levels have been working spot on. So if you want to learn how to do all that, I am going to start setting up some education. We're going to do some of that as the weeks go on. So I'm going to start drawing up some slides and everything for it so we could actually go through and make it a little bit official. But how I come up with my levels, how I go through mentality, how we leverage funded accounts, all these things that you can get basic information from anybody, right? Trading is clicking buy and sell and all that, and fundamental basic, price action. You're going to get that anywhere. What I'm looking to do is try and simplify what you're doing, try and give you a little bit of a mental approach that's going to help you out. How to leverage, like I said, how to leverage prop firms, how to leverage smaller accounts, how to be able to be a little more patient, how to figure out levels, then also using fundamental analysis and longer term, trying to price things in to what you see in the markets. I'm going to go through that. I don't know where my old price in chart is. I can see if I get some screenshots of it. But when I was trading FX and we were pricing stuff in, I would go into the chart and I would just draw up boxes. I'd type out price. I'd type out, information on what was going on at that time. So see if I could do it and, draw it up for you. So you have it. We're getting close to that 440, right? 440 I mentioned. It's 10 a.m. 1 hour left in the stream. I locked myself out, right? We're no longer trading this account. So we have one trade, one win for the week. If you're looking at our performance, we have a daily balance of a nice smooth curve to the upside for the week. And here's our daily stats. You can see it wasn't over trading. We've made one trade each day. It says 2 total trades, winning trades 2. I'm going to guess that really means executions because we have only taken one trade on each day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, averaging about, $300 because we had a 300 a day, a 150, a 500. So we're averaging right around that 300. We'll take that every day of the week. We're going to look to see if we could just have this winning streak, 1 trade per day, 2 trades per day, lock ourselves out. If we hit off on 2 losses, we can hit that lockout button. I'm only risking really max 250 a trade. It really depends on the out and my entry criteria. I try to limit it down to 100 if I can. So yesterday our initial stop was 250. That was really more of an emergency stop. Our true risk was about 100 to 150. So we did take a 1-to-1 on that. Today, our big max loss was 250. Once we started to move a little bit in our direction, we moved our stop into here. It was about 150, right? My initial stop was down in this range, giving it a little space, but not quite all the way down to the low. That was a 250. Once we started to actually press up a little bit, we moved our stop into that previous day high, really wanting to only risk to this 339, which is about 150. So you can see another, 5 to 1, 4 to 1. Looking to see if we can get some opportunities for our, let's see if we could film this up a little bit. Looking to see maybe we can get a trade on our combine, but right now it looks like we're just moving upside. Let's see if the Delta also broke out. Yeah, Delta broke out. Price is pushing up in there. I think until JPOW talks, we're pretty much going to be in this little pattern here. Maybe getting something like this. Holding. That may hold. Even tighter, probably into here. Gives you a little bit more of this hold. So that'll probably hold for the time being. If it starts to fail and then rotate back down through 414, that may indicate some selling start to pile in. Because that 440 level did get touched, and that is one of my major levels, I kind of want to see a little bit more out of that, maybe a wick off top of 440. But you rotate back down through 420 and down through 414. Selling could come back into the 80s. You can see this trend line holding. I'm going to, like I said, I think with JPOW coming in, talking for the 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern time, you're not really going to get a ton of like explosive movement right now. I think right up into this 440 level, this is a key level for me. But also, like I said, up into this purple zone from a couple days ago, could act as some resistance here. That was the breakdown point, right? So you start seeing this break up. Got a YouTube. Got to get that social out there. Still just kind of being patient, letting this thing dance around now. The move was here, right? This was your trade. If you were going to execute down here on the news release, if you have a news or economic release kind of strategy that you use, then that's good. But I didn't have that today. I thought just with the... all right, let me lower this. I said realistically with this release, I was just going to be patient, let it go. It came out good. So that was that was what would happen right there. The breakout was super clean. You took no heat on it. The number came out, broke right through that level, rallied up. The strength is going to continue. You're going to get some resistance here at a previous day high and the overnight high. Pull back in, break back out above that previous day high. That's your actual follow through. That's your true trade. Just sitting on this little rising little trend line here. Could, like I said, if it does crack this 440 level here, you got a little delta divergence as well there. So could crack now. If this is the crack, then you rotate down to here. If you look through that 20, then down through 20 and 414, you're really looking at that 80 to come up. Yo, what's up, Jofi? How we doing? How's Dubai treating you? We're sitting here. We locked ourselves out of this. I can imagine. It is a desert, so that is one probable reason for that. I'm good. I'm good and done. I made 562 here on one trade. We're just gonna kind of sit and chill on it. We are trading this this funded account. You can see up on top our day. Top Step X lets us lock ourselves out. So today, after that opportunity there, I had a target of 414. I trailed out at right down here at 80. We had a momentum trade that we played out really nice. You know, didn't catch that full move, but caught enough of it to decide that once we hit off on the actual target and started to see consolidation, Jerome Powell speaking at 11 o'clock Central Time here in America. So in about 50 minutes, he'll start his little speech. Kind of figure we're going to chop around anyway, so they let me lock out. I locked myself out. No more trades, no more FOMO. We made our 500 and change today, so come back tomorrow, look to execute, get it going. Let me give my wife a call. I'll be right back, Jofi, and everybody. I'll be right back. All right, back. You take any trades today, Jofi, or are you just starting out, or what? Messed up. I got you. Try to short the highs. That'll do it. That will do it. That's all. I was talking about that before you got on. With my funded accounts, I immediately, every time this is why this time I've kind of slowed myself down quite a bit. Now that I'm refunded again, everything's back to normal for me. The last few times I've been funded, I've like tried to make up for some reason or whatever, and then I'd hit like a heavier trade on a B setup and immediately put myself in the drawdown. Then start to FOMO, start to catch in. So this time around, we're looking to just get rid of that. No more FOMO stuff. We're waiting. Where our patience has been a lot better. So, I know that happens from time to time. It's almost impossible to get rid of that just on an everyday basis, Jofi. But hopefully, it didn't blow all of them. What's up, Caesar? How we doing? Hopefully, you still have your accounts there, Jofi. I'm good, man. I'm good. Definitely a good day. We're having a good week. We've only taken 3 trades this week, 1 trade a day. They've been pretty good, though. I mean, just really executing on levels, waiting, being patient. It's a good week. If you're patient and you let the, I mean, it's been a little bit choppy, but there are moves to be had. Yeah, it's a halfway through the week. Uh, it's not really about the dollar amount. It's about the executions, which is really what I'm more happy with, of just being able to stick to the plan, come into every single day, have the patience to wait for whatever the setup is coming, and then just hit it. If it hits, if it hits. It doesn't, it doesn't. It just, that's what it's really all about. Yeah, it's never about. But obviously, we always get caught up in it, right? We get caught up in the dollar amount. Everybody does it, especially early on, right? But I don't think it ever goes away. Once you can disconnect from it, the more you disconnect from it, the better. The better, obviously, you execute. But with this week, especially, the way like prices moved pre-market, and then during the actual trading session, for me, being patient and seeing through some of this chop and some of this nonsense that has gotten me in trouble in the past, and kind of just letting the level set up, waiting, using these longer term levels that they always work out, right? Like not like 100% of the time, but quite a bit of the time where my longer term levels. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being patient. It's all it's about. It's also about coffee for me. It's all about coffee. And some water. I think, like I said, with JPOW coming in here in about a little less than an hour, markets are going to kind of be slower. You are also going to be starting entering lunch hour for the U.S. markets. Um, with that really light economic number, anticipating this break here. I was talking about how this would happen if it came in under 50. I didn't actually expect it to come in as light as it did. It came in a whole 1 point lower than the forecast. So the inflationary environment that they are looking at for these rate cuts, the metrics are slowing some. So that's why you did get this big explosive move up, and then the continuation, right? A lot of times you'll get like a slight beat or a slight miss, and you'll get this big move, but then the immediate retracement back. With that full number and with Powell talking today, I think that kind of just gave the markets an excuse to not give that breakdown, that follow through from last two nights ago, where it started to sell off, started to melt off. I think what just came out today and some of that information kind of gave the markets just a little bit of reprieve to think, okay, those rate cuts are probably still coming. I know that they keep pushing them back, but I think they're coming. Potentially, maybe not May. I mean, definitely not May, but potentially the next rate cut decision. They do anticipate 3 of them, so we will wait and see. This move here does kind of recover most of the sell-off from the overnight on Tuesday into, well, I guess Monday into Tuesday. That big sell-off it started at 3 a.m., really all the way up into 500 is where that sell-off started, but this is the breakdown point, right? This is where that real You know, we had consolidation, 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 breakdown from here. We're pretty much right at the base of that consolidated breakdown. You can see you had that diminishing, like that stair step down. You're kind of getting that same stair step up now in the same areas, which is kind of interesting, right? You got the stair step down, stair step back up. You know, when people say it's not patterns, it totally is patterns. 440 for me is a key level, so that's why I do think that this is bouncing around here. You can see on this chart, my longer term, it says 5 minutes. All these levels are more 30-minute plus hourly levels for me. The yellow dotted lines are key levels that I won't really execute many trades outside of these levels, other than the one we took today. It was kind of close. We took this one here at 350. 350 is down here, so right through that level, bang, right through it. But it went level to level, right? Yellow line to yellow line, yellow line to yellow line. They kind of just play out time and time and time again. So that's what I use. But mainly I'm executing on overnight highs and lows and previous day highs and lows for my intraday stuff. And then I use these longer term levels as a help to give me targets, right? And that's where that 414 came into play. If you saw the trade, if you rewind on the stream and you see the execution, I had my target at 414. We did flush here, kind of got into that level, and then I trailed my stop up as I saw price kind of holding above 80. I went stop right there just below 80, and we wicked ourselves out and ran on up. But that's just me on the smaller account, just building up and taking what it's going to give me, because I know the 80 levels like to reject as well. As I size up, as I add more contracts on, probably take one off here, let the other one ride to targets and beyond. I would have been stopped out because this wick over 26, I definitely would have been tight to 414. Overall, I'll take what I got for the day with a single contract, right? I'm guessing you know Caesar there, Jofi. Where you at, Caesar? If Jofi's in Dubai, where are you at? Oh, Rhode Island. Nice. I know Rhode Island. Yeah. I'm in Texas currently. I'm from New York, so I'm familiar with the Rhode Island. Where in Rhode Island are you at? I played some college baseball against URI, and I think we played Providence once as well. Nice, nice. Well, since you're in Rhode Island, next Friday, doing that meetup, come into the city. I know it's a little bit away, but they're doing a trader meetup at 230 Fifth Avenue in New York City. Come by, check it out, meet up with everybody. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll be there. I'm flying up that morning. I'll be at the meetup. I know it's definitely Meet Deck, AK, a couple others. Definitely is going to be sweet. I think everybody's going to be having a good time. I've been to 235th a few times. I like it. It's a good little spot. Yeah, I'll fly up. Probably that. I guess my flights. I'll be in morning. I'll go to my parents' house for the morning, and then I'll head on to the city. How long is the ride from Providence? About like 3 hours? 4 hours? Yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm guessing you're gonna stay in the city that day. into tomorrow, into the 12th, into the 13th. Sweet. Oh, nice. Make it a nice weekend. Yeah, I got no trades going on right now. I locked myself out for the day. Took my one and done. I don't think there's much going on. Oh, there's cookies here. Oh shit. What is this?
Small cookies.
S'more cookie. Word. A little s'more cookie. Interesting.
You want more coffee or you good?
Yeah, I'll take more coffee. Why not? A s'more cookie. Interesting. Hell yeah. I can't deny cookies, man. On winning days, I'm either going biscotti or I'm going straight up cookie. I think that next Friday is going to be a fun time. I think a lot of people will definitely show up. I think there's a lot of traders I think that are on TradeCast that are in that tri-state area. The rest of us, I'm from there, so I had to go back. I was able to finagle some days off at work to be able to fly on up and get myself in there, see my family, go and do some stuff in the morning, take care of some coffee business as well. So, it's killing two birds with one stone or more. Definitely worth the trip. Stream goes till 11 every day while I'm on here. Even if I'm not going to execute it, I like to talk with everybody that comes by around this time. Just come hang out for a bit. Keep people from over trading.
Moreover, what do you think of the cookie?
Cookie's good.
Small cookies I just got it from Bacon.
Sweet.
From Craig Creations.
Yeah, I think it's just like a good amount of time, especially for me, still got the day job, so I still got to go to work in the afternoon. It just once 11 o'clock hits, especially most traders that are actually trading a lunch hour in New York session, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, power hour, markets get a little flat. You lose the volume. There's not a lot of opportunity, and it's just you have to walk away. You'll start to find opportunities that are not really there. That's when I started to get myself into trouble a lot of times is trading anywhere after 11. I do find some opportunities sometimes with some data releases and whatnot, but trading the close, I've had good success trading the close, but mainly from 8:30 till 11, 9:30 till 12 Eastern. That's the better trading. Power hour is good, but I got to go to work, so I can't trade power hour most days. I'm off Tuesdays and Wednesdays. That's why I'm on a little longer sometimes, but most of the time, 11 o'clock, shut it down. You trading futures, Caesar? Which stream is yours? I'll have to stop by. Geometry? Is that what? Rigonometry? Rigonometry. That's you, right? Yeah, I try to peek in at everybody's stream every once in a while I get a chance. I'll stop by yours, definitely. Especially when I'm not doing this. Once I'm locked out. When I say locked out, I manual lock myself out. Are you trading with Apex or anything, or just straight cash account? What are you doing? I do Top Step, but I know Jofi's an Apex guy. Yeah, I believe it. I think it's just the way to go, realistically. I mean, even if you burn a couple for the I know with you with Apex is cheap, couple dollars an account. I just I know that all the forex props are going under, a lot of them. So I back in the day when I was doing FX, I was trading with what was the two that I traded with? Fucking I forget. There was two of them that I got funded with, and I just totally forgot their name. Fivers and the other main one. But like I said, I wasn't taking it as seriously back then. I was able to pass the accounts, and then never really did much of that. I got out of the forex world once I started wanting to take it more and more serious. The futures like called to me, and then Top Step was that first funding company where you're like, oh wow, this makes a lot of sense. And then just I know you're in it too, so you know why. I mean, it just seems to be the best opportunity to just run with these futures props. I was with T3 on the equity side, but you still like when you do equities trading. I'm licensed I passed all the SIE exam. I passed the Series 57 exam, so I'm licensed to trade equities. But you have to put in your own money most of the time with those companies, or you have to start with a firm like let's say SMB, but you'd have to be there in person most of the time, early on, and a lot of times they're only accepting younger kids or people out of college, or I can't raise my family with the money that I put up, so you can't really necessarily get in that world without already having some capital to throw at it as much, which I do plan on getting back in. My license I think expires October, so if I could get back with T3 once I have some more cash, maybe I'll take a couple withdrawals and start loading into that T3 account just so I have both. I like the futures, but I also like having the option to trade these equities because I've been seeing the equities levels pretty good. I mean, especially these Mag 7 names, just playing those levels is huge, and having that prop on that end as well is I like the leverage of it. Nvidia making a lower high a bit right here. If Nvidia fails 900, then you might get the rotation of the Nasdaq down. I think, like I said, until Jerome starts his speech, you might just still grind up or grind sideways. You may pull back to 14, but this grind probably just continues on for the time being until he starts his little speech. Beautiful day here in Texas. It's not Dubai, so it's not burning up, but it'll get there. It'll get to hundreds, full humidity. I know they control the weather there in Dubai, right? So how often do they make it rain? This is more realistic. It's funny that they're open about how they control the weather touch, and people out here are like, oh, it's like a conspiracy that they control the weather and all that stuff, but they do it. They actively do it. They see clouds and stuff, right? I could only imagine how wild it is in a desert environment when it actually does rain. I mean, everybody's got supercars and stuff too, so they're not really made to be driving around. So here in Houston, it's made. It rains here a lot. When it does rain, it rains heavy, like you said. But they make a lot of the roads. I mean, there's some flooding here and there, but the roads drain pretty well. They've done a good job of, even especially since the last hurricane. I haven't been here since for that long. I was a New Yorker for a long time. New York, some places flood, some places don't, but they deal with rain okay. Here, it's definitely better. Just they have bayous and culverts and drainage ditches, and it's definitely a little bit different than what you're used to if you're from the Northeast or from another country. Are you originally from the UK and went to Dubai? Or are you just born and raised over there? Because you said your English is different. Nice. England deals with rain well, I'm sure. That's cool. That's a good move. Yeah, I could imagine. I've never been to England. I've been to Ireland, and it was raining in Ireland that day. He did say he had a hard day. I don't know how hard it was. He said oversizing a bit. I might jump into an Apex combine or whatever challenge just for fun, just to get another account. I know they're doing that. They constantly do sales. They're just a marketing company mainly because all they do is sales all the time. But it's worth it if you can maximize their leverage. Potentially, if this holds below 40, may roll over. Well, like I said, with Powell coming on in about 30 minutes, is probably just not going to get a lot of momentum, not a lot of volume out here right now. I have to talk to Top Step because my level 2s are not here. I pay for them, but they're not here. I can only see volume, and I don't see all of the asks. I gotta actually see if I can do that over here. Support. Send us a message. I pay for level 2s. Let's see if that'll do it. What are you doing? 50K accounts? Hey, Maximus. What are you doing? Come here. You got Marshall socks on? Oh, yeah. What's up? Say hi to everybody. Say hello. Say hello. You got cookies on your face?
No, I got actually a mustache from my cookie.
Yeah, he likes to come in and out every once in a while. My oldest is at school, so the youngest pops in and out here and there. I'm going to try and read through this quick because if you've already about a charge. It is possible there may be a technical issue or delay in the activation of your level 2 data. In such a case, it's recommended to log into Chopstick to go to your billing page and check your managed market data to confirm that your level 2 data is active. Yes, buddy. What's up? What do you see? What do you need? All right, I'll talk to you later, Jofi. Later, bud. These? All right. There you go. Take this. So heavy. I'll see you tomorrow, Jofi. Get on here and make some money. Make that back tomorrow. Don't go crazy. You'll be good. Bye, Max. Let's see. Top step billing. Lower this billing. It would be nice to get my correct data feeds, right? You pay for them. Rhythmic market depth level 2. So maybe that doesn't. What is the. It is. I checked. These robot conversations are entertaining. It's paid. What? If you already are paying for Rhythmic data and wish to have level 2 data displayed on your TopStep X account, you can upgrade your data subscription through the TopStep dashboard to upgrade to level 2 data. I already pay that. I don't understand. I'd like this to not be on the screen, but hey. That's annoying. The account name. I don't know what that is. Alrighty. Like I said, I stream till 11. J-Pal's going to talk at 11. I don't think there's going to be much more movement for me to be executing on, even on a combine basis. So like I said, anybody in here pretty much going to be shutting it down here at 11 o'clock. We are doing a trader meetup next week, the 12th at 230 Fifth Avenue. All the streamers, or as many streamers that are on here, are going to try and get over there so you can meet us all, have some good trading conversation, get to know the community. unless you're Jofi, you're not flying from Dubai. But anybody wants to get over there, it's going to be a good time. We have some good stuff coming up with Tradecaster, so look out for it. Potentially, as things progress with the information, I'll provide it out to you guys. As always, daytradingcoffeeco.com. That's where I get all my coffee. I run the coffee company, so it's coffee for traders, by traders. You head over there, use code Policing Pips. It'll get you 15% off. That'll get you 15% off your order if you are into coffee. If you want some swag, get on over there. Check it out. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're on YouTube, come on over to tradecaster.com. Once my stream gets up over that 50 viewers account, 50 viewer count, I'm gonna start giving away some stuffs, weekly. I already gave away one 25K. I'm blowing it. I gave away 1 month free of Tradecaster membership. So, we are doing giveaways pretty frequently. Once we hit 25, I gave that away. This time we hit 50. I'm probably going to give away a care package to whoever decides to show up and enter into it. If you're on YouTube, I just typed in the code. You could use my name, Policing Pips, for 15% off. Like I said, click the link, go over to Tradecaster, subscribe, do whatever you got to do over here in Tradecaster. It's a 7-day free trial if you've never done it. After that 7 days is up, you can still access all the free stuff that you could possibly need. And then if you would like to pay for it, you can get into all the paid rooms, obviously. You get a lot of the education. While you're in that 7-day free trial, you have full access to the whole thing. So go in there, take advantage of it, run through some of the education, see the value that you can get. Go into my room, check it out. Go into Deck's room, AK's room. Everybody who's paid, check it out. See what you like about it, see what you don't like about it. If you don't like it, give us some feedback. If you do like it, stick around. The rooms are very user-friendly, right? If you go, I'm going to show you what my room looks like. This is my stream here. You can see we got my heading when I stream, right? We got alerts here, conversation in the chat. The stream takes up pretty much the whole big middle area. I added charts on here. You got your data, so you don't have to really go over to Trading Economics. You can go down below my stream. If you're on a phone, it looks a little different, so you have to flip through. But on your computer, you got all this information at your fingertips, right? You got different lobbies here. You got everybody who is live right now on top, everybody who's shut it down on the bottom, right? So you can hop into any of these rooms, check out how they have their layouts, right? Go into AK's room, take a look, see, same kind of deal. Everything's alerted in there. You got his bio, you got some stream info. He's got a breaking news tab. So you got a lot of different setups here that are pretty useful, right? So you got all these people here that are going to be fun. You're done with that, Max? All right.
Yeah, can you put it up there, please?
I will put it up there. You got it, bud. All right. Yeah, like I said, I think we're going to just chop around until J-Pow talks anyway. Come here at another 15 minutes or so. He could induce some selling. He could also induce some buying by mentioning that he's going to cut rates. So just be careful, be mindful of that. I have a stiff neck, so it's just kind of locked up on me a bit. You got right here Fed Chair Powell's speech, and then you got Barr and Kluger. None of these other people matter. It's all about J. Powell and what he does with his money printer. I'm going to put this away. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to cut. I'll be right back. So the goals here for the rest of the week are going to be to just kind of maintain the same discipline that we've been having week to week, day to day. You're really just looking to continue to be disciplined. Just be out here executing around my levels. Right now, like we're sitting on this 40 level, could be a selling point just based on the longer term chart. But it's not something I'm willing to execute on at this time of day on these accounts, right? I locked myself out. Top Step does give you the opportunity to, on their Top Step X account, manually lock yourself out. So either if I'm up or down, I'm going to continuously use this button to just help my discipline and prevent over trading in any sort of way, right? Either make your trade, you're 1 and done, 2 and done. If I see, let's say this trade here worked out exactly how it did. I executed, I took my profit, and from 80, it decided to fail, right? We started to fail. We got back down into that previous day high, maybe flushed it a little, came back up above it, started to rotate back down. VWAP kind of gets out of the way. We start to fail the overnight high. That, to me, starts to maybe play into my short bias, right? So I might not have locked myself out if I started to get the failure and start to roll down and rotate, because I like to rotate either overnight high to overnight low or to the next level. Say some information came out and we started to rotate down. For me now, everything afterwards, like I was targeting 414. We got there. Once we got there, it just flattened out and died, right? Obviously, we're grinding higher, rotating back down to that 414 at the moment, 420, 414. That's just kind of not tradable. This here is not tradable for me. Nothing here that I'm looking at to execute. So once I see that my target got hit, that full take profit, if I would have got it and trailed a little bit looser, I would have been able to kind of maximize that a bit. But really, like I said, I'm a scalper. I'll take $500 a trade every time until I start scaling this account up a bit. But that's just based on this account size right now, right? So just taking what I'm given, got to my target, and you don't get a rejection here, right? You just get flattened price action, more of a pause. So that's not an entry criteria for a short. Once I'm seeing this, I'm gonna lock myself out because I don't want to FOMO into this chop. I don't want to see this breakout and be like, oh, it's going to break out now and run up higher. And then, now you're just fading in and you're break even. You just executed for no reason. There's no real reason for a trade here at this moment in time. So I'm not going to execute. So if I'm not going to execute, the only thing I'm going to do is start to, while I'm watching it, I'm starting to trick my mind into getting into this trade, right? So the best way for me to do that is once I see that this price action starts to happen, I'm going to lock myself out. No more trades. Let's say this lost, right? If I lost on this, it wicked me out and then started to run on up. I didn't see anything else that's going to get me into this trade. Then you start to see price flatten out at your price target. And you're like, okay, maybe a break above here, you get an entry, right? A break above that. That was part of my trailing criteria, but it didn't start down here well enough for me to be able to be like, all right, I'm going to get into another trade. So lock myself out. And if I would have been down, 200 on a full loss, then I'm down 200. But at least I still maintain the account. I never want to hit off on that $1,000 loss unless I'm like anticipating a home run type trade. I'm full sized. I'm gonna be just like I'm up already on my account quite a bit, and I can stomach that risk. And it's really just on a day-to-day basis. But I don't want to be risking that much. I want to try and maintain my abilities here to just be mindful of this, right? So we are re-entering the downward channel after rejecting 440, right? I was talking about 440 being that top end above the channel that would probably get wicked and held and then rotate back down. If it does start to rotate down, once J-Powell starts talking and he starts, mentioning, we don't know, talking in circles, all that stuff, you could possibly rotate back down to VWAP, probably into the previous day high. Down here at 359, 360 level is one of the key levels. And then it's going to make a decision to see if it's going to continue lower or not. We just push down in. Like I said, I think that 380 to 360 could possibly come back into play. But right now, like I said, I don't have an execution. You could have maybe broke down through the lows of 440, like I was mentioning. Once you broke through here, that is a rotation from 40 to 14, which is a good little, you could catch that little scalp. But for me, that's not an A-plus type setup. It's just a level that I'm interested in, starting to see a setup there and rotating down. So realistically, nothing for me. But like I did mention, this kind of grind up into the 440 level doesn't show me that strength that's going to say, oh, we're going to continue on up into 500 yet. But also at the same time, there wasn't a ton of weakness here, and then no new information that's going to give you the let's fully rotate back down and clear it out. So you may chop here on top of 414. If you do break down below 400, then possibly, like I said, rotate down to that 360 to 380 area, and then see what kind of price action happens. Otherwise, I think you should just kind of be cautious, especially when the Fed chair is speaking. He has a history of manipulating markets with his verbiage, so just be careful. Like I said, 8 more minutes left in my stream. I could cut it now, but I like to stay on the full 8:30 to 11. I mean, I could have cut it when I was done and locked myself out, but just talking through it, getting in good conversation, and understanding kind of where we're going to be going, possibly for tomorrow, and seeing that our levels are playing out nicely. Like 440 rejected nicely, which was good. I like that was able to kind of come into play and reject. It just shows that my levels are still intact. Maybe not necessarily tradable at the moment, but it's still intact. That is a good area for an entry. You can see this kind of faded off. If you're maybe longer term type ideas, I don't think with those tweezer tops on a 30-minute, you're kind of looking at a risk above 452. If you would have entered at 440, that's a 10-point risk for, down to VWAP if it's possible. I don't know how possible it's going to be, but NVIDIA's rolling over to failed 900, and it's searching for some liquidity maybe down into that 892 area. Yeah, all right. 5 minutes left in the trading session for me. Gonna get out of here and go hang out with the family a little bit and do what we gotta do today. There is a chance that this rotates fully all the way back down into, like I said, that 380 to 360 level. If it does crack 400, if Jerome decides to say, yeah, we're cutting rates next month, look out for it. Then this thing is going to go take off. But he has a really good ability of talking in circles and making sure that there's no brand new information being released or anything that's going to be really market moving, unless he does have something wildly outrageous to say one way or the other. We probably just stay range bound now. NVIDIA hunting down for that 892, seeing if it wants to get there. Did just break down that 895. So 892, if it holds above 892, then you can possibly look to see it rotate back to 900. I don't know if it'll crack 892. It seems like it's going to be a pretty important level here. So it could bounce off of that, unless, like I said, you start to see some really heavy movement here in the NQ. It's kind of good to note, right? Like I've said, I'm not executing on this. I think that price action was going to be flat and kind of rangy and choppy a bit off of the Powell potential speech in the next 5 minutes or so. So it's not something I'm really looking to enter into, but you can see, I'll put it onto this chart here, right there. You can see my levels here, that 439.50, obviously, we'll call it 440. That tweezer top of the channel, right? We failed to break out. Now we're rotating back into the channel. You do have all these wicks here that you need to kind of get through to rotate back down. We did hold now down below 414, obviously right there. You can see 414 right there, right? That was that level. So now we're looking to see if it's going to get all the way down through this congestion, which I said is 18,380, and then down into this 360 area, this next line. Do we bounce off of here and continue to rotate back out and through? If you do that and you kind of break through this 414 level again, you come down into the 60 level and then rotate back to 414 and beyond, that break of 414 should push you up back into 40 and then maybe beyond into the 500 level. So you should be good. Like if it doesn't fully retrace all the way back down to the bottom of the channel, we do have that long-term rising channel. That bullish pattern here is this blue line here. That's the bottom end of that. So if you chop around here until you get into that area 60 or even push down into 40s and pop off of here instead of flushing it, then potentially the next break of this trend line to upside could give you that follow through. So that's what I'm looking at for maybe tomorrow. For today, I think you do chop around some. In the next 3 minutes, he's coming on. If then nobody else has any questions, comments, concerns, or anything such as, anything that we could possibly go over, then just let me know. Otherwise, reach out, hit me up on the Tradecaster, you chat. I'll come back in at some point and read it. If I don't see it today, I'll see it tomorrow before stream. YouTube, go over to daytradingcoffeeco.com. Use code PolicingPips. Get yourself 15% off your order of coffee. Trading coffee for traders by traders, fueling your trading P&L. We are going to be cutting off here in 2 minutes. Trader meetup next Friday, New York City. We're going to be at 235th. Have a good time up there. We have some new releases coming out soon within the Tradecaster community, so look out for that as well. Tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. Don't ask me what time on the West Coast because I don't know. I don't know what the daylight savings time does over there. But we are going to be back here, like I said, tomorrow morning. Be mindful of these levels. Be mindful of over trading. Obviously, this week we've done a really good job of just executing one good trade a day. So if that's all it's going to take, I'm going to just do this as best I can. If I could be as patient as I have been over the last 3 days, I'll sit here for 3 hours and make one trade or no trades and be just fine with that, because that's going to continue that equity curve up and to the right. We are going to have a losing day here and there, but if we can minimize those losing days, obviously we have proven that our winning days can build us up pretty quick, right? So I'll take $1,000 a week, 3 days of trading. Can't be mad about it. So if I have an opportunity tomorrow, I'll take it. If I don't, I won't. And, every single day we'll look to just build off of that and grow this account, right? So until tomorrow, I appreciate everybody stopping by, having a good conversation. I appreciate Rigonometry coming in, Caesar, one of our other streamers, Jofi, always having a good conversation, JKD, everybody that comes in here, Frias, everybody. I'm very, very grateful for anybody who comes in. Once we get this stream up over 50 viewers, we're starting to do more giveaways on a weekly basis. So just stay tuned. Tell your friends, tell your family. Just come on in, watch the stream. If you want to be a part of this community and do some giveaways and whatnot, just share it up. All right. Follow me on Instagram, IG, @PolicingPips. On YouTube is also @PolicingPips. Here on Tradecaster, obviously, @PolicingPips. Everything is all the same name. It's very rare that somebody's going to have this kind of name as well. So if it says it, it's me. And head on over. Follow us at Day Trading Coffee Co. on Instagram as well. Until tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., let's do it. Peace out.